Last time on Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater. Bleak attended a racist fish fry in the town of Erebane, then followed Cersei and her friends to the tent city outside of Zardoza compound, and helped them solve their musical riddle. After a short visit with Zick Vendor inside the compound, Cersei teleported away, mid-hand job with one of Zick's prized possessions, and the group fled Zardoza, heading south to Kishwahili, where most of them registered for two of the town's political parties. And now, Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater continues.
So the four of you are in the firehouse, is what it's known as. There are four houses in Kishwahili. You guys have entered the firehouse. All four houses, the city is split into four quadrants. There's a circle in the middle that is accessible to all four. From each one of these houses, you can enter the other houses, although it's usually frowned upon. You are expected to wear your badge proudly wherever you go, of what party you support. So if you're wearing a fire badge and you go into one of the other houses, prepare, you're not going to get arrested or killed or anything, but just prepare for a lot of political disagreement and dissent as soon as you walk into someone else's house. So it's usually pretty much avoided. Usually they stick to their own houses, and if you want to mingle with other people or argue or fight, they go to what they call the Paralimental Circle, which is the shared space in the center of the city, where they have debates and have an arena, and it's a gathering place for all of the elements, and it's where they have their discussions about what portals to open and things like that. You guys are currently in the firehouse, which recently came under some sanctions for opening a portal without a 3/4 vote. They illegally opened a portal. It's one of those things where they kind of got what they wanted because they got to open a portal and capture a lot of fire elemental power, which is what the leader of the firehouse was after. But now they're being sanctioned, and right now don't get a vote. So they're only.
Do we know the leader of the firehouse's name?
Vortiga does.
Yes, it is. It's something Holmes. I can't remember the first name.
Well, then since you're Ramses, that makes sense anyway.
Yeah, it's like Rupert Holmes or something.
Something Holmes is all Ramses can remember. Ramses searches Vortiga's memory bank and just remembers Holmes.
I can look in my notebook.
Or you can roll a knowledge history check if you really want to try and remember Vortiga's memory.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, so they don't just walk in there going, "Sup, Holmes?"
I knew that was coming, yeah.
Yeah.
But just looking around, you guys will notice that most of the buildings here are look like they're burnt out or they're painted black. A lot of charred ash. There's a big fire. It seemed to not be as large as the last time you were here. Vortiga, it's died down some, but there's a large fire, which they seem to like. It seems to be their center of worship. Vortiga will probably inform you that a lot of these people here are religious zealots. They're very. This is a very religious political party. They believe fire is the best way, and etc.
Purification through fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vortiga had to walk through the fire. I don't know if Ramses remembers that, but depending on his knowledge history roll that he rolls, we'll determine what he remembers. But
Yeah, let me see. Sure. Knowledge history is... that's kind of rolled off. That's an 18 plus 3.
All right.
So 21. I'll tell them about the Wicker Man and all
yeah,
that.
tell him about walking through the fire. You remember Vortiga walking through the fire and bonding with some of the religious people here, which is weird for you to see Vortiga doing something religious, but you know she had ulterior motives. You'll remember that the guy's full name is Holmes Burns.
Holmes Burns, that's right.
But you can just call him Holmes, it's fine. You would also remember there's an alchemist here. There's a fire arena here in the firehouse where you can fight in a fire pit. They have an ash winery. Several houses that are, burnt up houses, but people live in them. They have what they call the Red Roof Inn. They have no jail or court system. They have what they call trial by fire. So if you commit a crime, they toss you in a fire and let God sort it out. But yeah, they've got the Great Fire, which is a large fire in the middle that's always burning. They have a hot deals market, which they claim has lots of hot deals. Smithy and a glassblower also. Flamer's Tavern, which was more like a restaurant. Vortiga will tell you, not much like a tavern, but they have very good. They have very good ash wine and decent food, decent burnt meat type meals if you like burnt meat. Actually, they'll serve any kind of food, even vegetables, but everything comes out burnt, no matter what you order. There's the Fire Temple, which is next to that large fire, the Eternal Flame. People gather there and worship and put sticks on the Wicker Man and ask for forgiveness. And whenever they burn the Wicker Man, they think they're forgiven for whatever wrong thing they did.
Okay. Our big plan here is to try to open up another portal, maybe? This time legally?
Yeah,
Open a
got
portal.
party members
And different factions.
different factions.
So we could get them to work on the Earth people, we work on the fire. You got
Yeah. Right now, like I said, the fire party is being sanctioned for legally opening a portal, so for the time being, they don't get a vote.
So basically, we
have
need to.
get all three other factions.
Yeah, or at least 2/3 of the other factions. They have to have a majority vote to open a plane. So right now, that 2/3 will be a majority. So if you
So
can
we're
get two
dealing
of the
with
parties
like
to agree,
We're dealing with like a UN Security Council issue. Where
Yeah.
it's, okay, so you gotta get the majority vote.
Yep.
This is like some Iran nuclear fucking shit.
Yeah.
So, alright, so we're the outed group right now. We got the sanctions.
You're in Iran, yeah. You guys
Yeah,
have sanctions. You do not get a vote. You have no power in this debate right now. You are allowed to come to the Parliamentary Circle and argue and debate, but your party will have no power when it comes to the final vote. So you guys can still go argue your case or whatever, but when it comes to the final vote, if a plane will be opened and which one, all you can do is speak on it. You can't. The party will get no vote.
Okay, well,
So it's not likely to be a fire portal since they don't get a vote.
outside of game, the only place in the world that has the best litigators is Nevercrooks. Hellport with all the lawyers. That's where all the lawyers are. And this sounds like something like, you could prove, like, through metal and stuff, oh, look at my merit and what I've done for the other parties and come together. These are some hard-ass, fire people that aren't going to compromise. These are some hard
They're religious zealots, so yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely believe that they're right and everyone else is wrong.
So the easiest way to go about it would be some lawyer-type litigation, but that would, not be the most fun way. We would get to, we don't want to do
You guys want to call another lawyer in? Just
some
lawyer up every game?
on a jury-type shit.
I have really good diplomacy, so I could help us out in maybe a debate, even though our faction doesn't get much of a say. We could try to get people to agree on something, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, what's your motive behind opening a portal? I mean, does it matter what portal they open? I mean, what are you guys looking for with them opening a portal? Trying to go in and trying to get something out? Which portal would you like opened? Those are all things to think about before you go trying to get them to open a portal.
As Ramses, I would let them know that when the fire elementals came out, I talked to them about the capturing of fire elementals and whatever elemental comes out of the portal, the group that has the portal open tries to capture as many of those elementals as possible. I didn't really see during the game what they were doing with them after I kind of captured a small fire elemental and left.
Yeah.
But apparently, they capture the elementals from whatever realm they open the portal to.
And then they can, after that, they'll capture them. It's like getting a companion animal, basically. They're making those elementals theirs. They're having, like, companion elementals, or familiar elementals now. If they can capture them, tame them, convince them to follow them, usually through some sort of coercion, then they can summon them at will. Or use them, for their own means, their own ends.
But it didn't seem like a Highlander, like, there can only be one fucking party-type quest. Where it's like,
there's always been 4 parties, and there's always been a balance between the 4 parties. They just, try to limit the amount of planes they open on the material plane, because it's dangerous to open these planes, and there are rules and laws against how often, and, so because of this limit, that's why they vote, because it can only happen so often, and when they vote, and it's going to be a long time again before another one opens, because they don't agree very often, and they can't do it that often. So it's just a big deal to open a plane, and they've had this agreement going for thousands of years, where these 4 elemental worshippers started this when they figured out how to open planes as a way to keep balance, so that no one plane overwhelms the Earth.
Cersei like balance.
Yeah.
and I would mention the one before we opened was, of course, last one opened 50 years ago.
Okay, alright. There's that number again.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it would be good if we could get in touch. Or can I roll a knowledge planes and see if I would have any knowledge of these portals, and would we be able to jump through a portal?
Yeah,
Check out
you can roll that.
Alright.
We'd have to, you and I probably could, because of our damage resistance to fire, but other people might just jump into a pit of magma.
17.
Yeah, you would know that whenever a planar door opens, that either things can go in or things can come out. So yes, there's a chance you'd be able to get into it and visit the plane that was being opened, but there's also a chance things would come out, or both things can happen depending on your proximity to it and and whatever creatures on the other side, their proximity to it. So it depends where the portal would be opened. But as Pat was saying, it is true. Whatever plane you go to, you need to be aware that planes that are made up of a certain element are almost always made entirely of some elements. You'll need some resistance to survive in these other planes is also often very tricky unless you're well trained in planar survival.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the easiest and safest one to go into would probably be Earth, because I know my boy Alec, he's definitely going to be all about helping out the Earth folk. It'd be nice if we could do something to help these fire people out, I guess, to make them not so shunned by the other factions.
Well, how about I take y'all to Holmes, since I know Holmes as Ortega, and I helped Holmes, so I would imagine I'd still have good rapport with him. I can run through the fire again if I need to. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But, so I'd like to try and meet someone I'm kind of familiar with, facially in the town, like one of his acolytes, and try to ask them if I can get a meeting with Holmes, and so I can introduce Cersei and Diva.
Roll me a perception check.
I'm gonna pop on my Emily.
Mostly Vortiga, since Vortiga knows who Vortiga, or Ramses knows who Vortiga's looking for.
That's going to be an 18.
You see over by the Great Fire someone that resembles Holmes Burns. He's a pretty recognizable guy.
Alright, I will approach Holmes, and of course I'm going to explain to them. I'm going to go meet Holmes. Let me introduce y'all.
So you guys follow along?
Sure. I'm popping on my immolation shirt.
Okay. You guys all head over to Holmes Burns, who is a elf. A male elf with fiery eyes and dark hair for an elf, very dark hair, but orangish skin, like an Oompa Loompa or Speaker Boehner, Loud voice, very excitable, very short fuse. He's like preaching something very loudly by the fire now, basically like lambasting the other three parties for giving them sanctions and that they had every right to open. They opened the portal of their own. It wasn't He thinks that they were wrong. That portal was a separate portal than the ones they normally open. It shouldn't count, and so he's upset and he's rallying up the rest of the fire party in anger against the other parties.
Well, I'm going to let him continue his rally and wait for him to be done with his, talking, and then I'll approach him after he's done with his speech.
All right, the speech dies down, and he tosses the Wicker Man into the fire, and the fire whooshes up into a much larger fire again, and the crowd cheers, and they seem to be dispersing after that and going their own separate ways. But Holmes is still there, very close to the fire.
All right, I approach Holmes and say, Holmes, my friend, how are you?
He turns around and says, Vortiga, welcome back to Firehouse.
Yes,
See, you brought some new party members with you.
Yes, I'd like to introduce you to two of my close associates.
And Pleek.
Pleek's with us too. Sorry about that, I forgot. Three of my close associates. Cersei, a very trusted companion of mine. Many quests traveled together.
Pleasure to meet you.
Viva.
Hey, Bernsey.
Viva Caligula, a known smasher in the world, and Pleek Norfish, a fellow traveler companion that I've recently met.
The Norfish name sounds familiar, but I know the Caligula name. You're from West Linya, yes?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. He says, I think I knew some Caligulas back in high school.
Yeah.
Maybe I knew your mom.
Chances are she was a whore.
Yeah, I might be your dad. Who knows?
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
You are a half elf, aren't you? Or you're a full elf?
I'm an half elf.
Oh boy.
Well, we just wanted to see how things were going since the portal opened. I've heard there's been sanctions and everything, and is there anything we can help you with in the firehouse?
Since there's a lot of sanctions put upon them, they've been blamed for a lot of the stuff that happened when the fire portal opened. The water party pool is full of shit, and so until that's cleaned up, they're being sanctioned. and because of opening that portal, they're being locked out of this next vote. So the next vote is coming up soon to open a portal, and they're being locked out, basically. So they're pretty upset about that, and they're being expected to clean up a bunch of poop. So...
If you cleaned up the poop, would you get back in the vote?
No, but it would help them get in good graces with the rest of the parties, at least with the water party, which, they never had a very close relationship. But if they help clean out this pool, then at least they'll get back on their good side.
I think I might have the purified water spell.
I have purified water.
How much water does that purify? It's a pretty big pool.
Yeah, it only does a couple gallons.
I don't think there's a mythic purified water.
Unlikely.
If you want, I'll let you blow all your mythic points for the day on a purified water to clean this pool.
I want to make sure that I actually have the spell before I go through this. I know I have purified food and water, which
Yeah, it's the opposite.
I was just thinking work.
Well, I might do it as Ramses because it was Mortiga's action.
You're gonna undo it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go with the. Because I feel like for this one day, I can always go and take
Tomorrow
a nap.
rest, yeah, you'll get them back. But if you expand all of your mythic energy, you'll go over to the water party with your fire patch on as a sign of goodwill. They'll see you coming over there. You get a bunch of dirty looks, and people whispering mean things about you. The ones that are hanging out by the pool that can't get in the pool. It's usually the pool's full of people swimming, and right now they're all standing on the side of the pool, looking angry. And someone from the fire party walks in, and they're of course saying dirty things about you. But you walk up to the edge of the poop pool.
Poop pool. And I will plug all 5.
Alright, you go super mythic and strain yourself. And the water slowly changes from brown to crystal clear.
Hey, I did something good.
You did. You cleaned a pool. World's best pool boy.
I give it the poop. I
Take the poop away. Yeah. So you've now cleaned this pool, and you did it with a fire patch on, so that might help relations between the water and the firehouse, because someone from firehouse came and cleaned their pool.
Yeah.
So good job.
Why don't you hang out
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's. If y'all have any questions for or anything, so I'll go back to the hold that cleaned out the pool, helped out with that.
That was so fast. I'm amazed. I don't know how you cleaned up pool so fast. It was full of poop.
Magic.
Well, that makes sense, I guess.
But what can you really do to get back in the good graces of the council again, so that you can get a vote? Because I believe every man deserves a vote.
Well, he says, well, maybe with statements like that, you can convince them that we belong back on the council. But right now, because we opened that portal, we're being punished. So unless someone can convince them otherwise, I've been unable to convince them to let us vote.
Let's go to the center of town and talk to the council.
I agree. Can we go to the
Paralemental Circle?
Yeah.
You guys go to the Paralemental Circle in the center of town. It's a large ring within a ring, where people can argue or fight or whatever they want. There was already a whole lot of people from all 4 parties there, engaging in civil disagreement, and some flat-out arguments in some places, and some places are just calling each other names. So there's a whole lot of different discourse going on here. Seems pretty unorganized. It seems like a lot of people just arguing with each other.
Place is gnarly.
I'll
Chaos everywhere.
approach some of our fire companions and ask them where's the council located.
They ask what you're talking about.
No.
We're already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no council. This is a Parliamental Circle. It's full democracy, one man, one vote type system.
Yeah.
Everyone here represents themselves.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways we can go about this.
Can bust out my perfect golden lute or whatever and try to mesmerize these people for a little bit, get their attention. Get everybody to shut the hell up, and then we can talk to them.
I think that'd be the best option rather than doing some spectacle that could dangerously implement an element that someone doesn't like.
Do you have a performance skill?
No, well, I get one. I get plus 10 because of the.
Oh yeah, of course.
The lute's so nice that anyone can play it, even if it gives you the ability to play whether or not you know how to play or not.
All right.
Well,
You don't get the magic. There's other magic stuff you get if you can play it. If you can't play it, it gives you the ability to be able to play it, basically.
Yeah. Alright, it gives me plus
Not
10
great,
to
but he can play with a +10. So even with a 0 roll, that's average. He can play average with nothing.
Alright,
So.
I'm gonna bust out my loot.
All right.
And start tickling the strings, see if we can get some people's attention.
All right.
Stop yelling at each other.
Roll it.
Oh, that was a natural 19, so 29.
All right, you're playing really well. Roll me your will save.
I'll roll that will save. Natural 1. Ouch. Wow.
You start playing this perfectly golden loot. You will be unable to stop playing this perfect golden loot until you pass out from All right, roll back in time. I was gonna say, can I at least tell you what song you were gonna play forever?
Oh, hell yeah.
You're gonna play "This Is the Song That Doesn't End" from Lamb Chop. You can do another will save to resist the thrall to continue playing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll
With your hero point.
I'll keep playing for a little while.
All right, so roll with the hero point to resist the thrall, +8. It won't be a 1, so it won't be as bad, I'm sure.
It's gonna be a 23.
All right, that's enough to resist the thrall. So you just play really, really well right now. You're playing a nice song. No one seems fascinated by it, but it is calming music. It is changing the atmosphere a little bit. Some of the arguing quiets down to just mere discussion. So we'll say that people are acting a little more civil because of the music. You've created a calm, a soothing tone in the area where people feel like they can have a discussion rather than argue, I guess. You've created some background music.
I'm gonna put down the loot. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna roll a diplomacy and say, "People of Kiswahili, lend me your ears."
Okay, roll it.
All right. 37. I haven't.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's a game. You have to roll. I know. You do fine. They all listen. At least most of them turn and look because you have hot blue tits. At least they're going to turn and look to see what you have to say. And the music stopped, so they look to see because the music stopped, and then you stand up with your big blue tits. So yeah, you've got at least roll me a percentage chance. That'll be how many of them are paying attention at least.
All right. Well, can I roll another perform check to still be playing a little bit as I talk?
Yeah, that's fine. That'll help.
Intrigued.
You can add 10 to your percentage. Yeah, that's good enough to keep playing.
10 to the percentage?
Yeah, if you continue playing.
I dig it. 51, so 61%.
Okay.
A little over half.
Yeah. A little over half of them are seem to be paying attention to you.
All right. Well, hopefully that's a little bit from each of the houses. So, I'm gonna, roll my diplomacy with these guys. Tell them that I'm Cersei. I am here representing the firehouse. I'm sure I get a couple of hisses and boos.
Yeah,
and
of course. Yeah.
Stuff.
Someone even throws a shoe at you.
We've been I'm gonna roll a reflex save to dodge that shoe. How about that? Am I President Bush now? Is that
That's
right?
all. George Bush, Baghdad. Speaks like, Mr. Bush, you take these shoes.
You are from the firehouse.
All right.
Not one, but two shoes.
I rolled a 7, so I do get hit with the shoe.
Yeah, you do get struck on the shoulder with a shoe. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't even interrupt your playing, but it just kind of it happens.
Yeah. All right. I will just
There's a whole lot of anti-firehouse sentiment right now, so.
Yeah. I'm going to say that we've been sent here by the leader of the firehouse to treat with you and try to repair. What's the word I'm looking for? Repair. Communication between the four houses and to bring about balance in this wonderful town of Kiswahili again. And so we'd like to start negotiations. Bring forth your leaders. We wish to speak to them.
All right. So we'll have some other. They'll get some other leaders together. I'll allow that with that high diplomacy roll. So the leaders of the other houses come to meet with you, and Holmes, I guess, will be there as well. So now we have Pete Moss of the Earth Party.
I want to write that down.
Pete Moss.
Yep. Barry Smoke of the Air Party. Holmes Burns of the Fire Party, and Kim Mickles of the Water Party. So Pete Moss is a gnome, Barry Smoke is a dwarf, Holmes, of course, is an elf we talked about, and Kim Mickles is a Venaran, a shaved Venaran, so it's a completely bald Venaran, one of the weirdest things you've ever seen. A bald monkey. Lady. But they all meet with you, and Holmes Burns is there. You guys are acting sort of as moderators for this discussion, I guess. You've come in as outsiders, and even though you're affiliated with the Fire Party, you started this discussion, and they're letting you moderate this discussion between the four of them or whatever.
Well, I'm a gnome, so maybe that will help with the Earth Party with Pete Moss, but in terms of getting them on the...
there are four of you and four of them. You could assign each one of you to one of them and try to, like...
I will talk to
be the help. You can each help, like, bridge the communication gap if you assign, like, one of you to each leader, maybe. Yeah. So one of you goes and meets with each leader and, like, talks to them about what they want, maybe, and then come back to the table and help them discuss it without, getting into a big argument.
Well, I think that character-wise, if it's four of us versus three of the people, because we wouldn't talk to Holmes.
Well, one of you's gonna be with Holmes though. It's good to have intermediaries for all of you. I think you want them all to be equal.
Yeah, I'll stick with Holmes because we'll go down.
Yeah.
All right, smart.
I'll go. Cersei should probably go to Earth Party because you have more relation.
Well, Fleek is a gnome.
Oh, that would be right.
Yeah, with Pete and Moss.
But Alan, I know
With a
Alan,
lady gnome with a dude gnome. See what happens.
Yeah, sure.
And you live with a lot of druid people, so you have more familiarity with just Earth-like creatures and people there in general. I'm going to talk to Kim Nichols, I think, since I cleaned the pool.
All right, that's probably smart.
Yeah,
You be that ambassador. All right, so you've met all of them. They've agreed to take you back to their districts and sit down.
Am I going to the Venarin? I'm going to the air person?
So, yeah.
You're going to Air. Air is Barry Smoke, which is a dwarf.
Wait, okay.
So you want to go to Air and then Cleet goes to Earth and talk to the gnome?
Yeah, I'll talk to the dwarf, I guess.
All right, so they take you back to their districts. Who do we want to start with? Do we want to roll like a d20 and whoever rolls highest is who I'll start with?
Sure.
I got a 6.
Damn.
And, so who was the highest?
I got 10.
So we got a tie for 10. So I'll let you and Pleek roll one more time to break the tie for you two.
11.
Jesus Christ.
You guys tied again. Roll again.
Wrong.
I'll just do it both.
Natural one.
All right, so there we go. So we'll start with Viva. Where were you going, Viva?
We're going back to the fire district.
Go back to the fire party. You follow Holmes Burns back to the fire party. I've already described what it looks like, so you're kind of already familiar with all that. What do you want to talk to Holmes Burns about? How do you want to prepare for this meeting? Anything at all? You're an elf. He's an elf.
Guys, you want to smash it all that place. Let's figure out what he wants. Not only just his right to vote, but like what else he might need from the other parties, or like what he's willing to do for other parties, something like that. Something that we could pass spread, you know?
Yeah, you seem to get the impression from Holmes that he feels like they're the least liked party of all of them. Everyone feels like they're very dangerous. They're not respected. Everyone thinks fire is dangerous, and he feels like they get treated differently. That's his biggest grievance, is that he doesn't get treated with the same respect as the other parties. And then that everyone thinks they're just religious zealots, and he says we have very firm beliefs, but that's what that's who we are. But our firm beliefs don't make us any less valid, or those are his main concerns.
All right. Okay.
He offers you for choosing to join the fire party and following him along on this because you're his ambassador now. He offers you a fire party tattoo if you'd like one for 1 gold, and he also offers you an incendiary bomb.
They're pretty cool.
I'll take them both.
All right, you can choose wherever you want this tattoo. It's a flame tattoo.
Flame on.
Yep. Put it wherever you like on your body. It's not magic or anything, but it is a way you can mark your pride in your political party when you're in this town. So it'll improve your diplomacy with anyone else within the party, especially if it's somewhere they can see it.
Yeah, got something on my bicep.
All right, big fire on your bicep. Got it. You got a cool flamey tattoo now, which will, like I said, improve your diplomacy with people here in the fire party. And you have an incendiary bomb. So he's looking forward to having you represent him in this meeting, and he hopes that you're able to get some of the stuff you want, but at least the ability to vote again, because he thinks it's not fair that they can't vote at all on this, which portal will be opened.
Sure.
It's not likely to be the fire party portal anyway, and he knows that, especially because they recently opened one illegally. So he doesn't expect that they're going to vote for his anyway, but he would at least like to have a say on which one gets opened.
Yeah.
Because one of them is going to get opened sooner. That's it happens. Like every 50 years, one of them will get opened. So they're at the point now where something's going to happen, and he wants to make sure he has a say.
I can express that for you. Good job.
All right, boom. You get prepared for the meeting. Who's up next? We'll do Pleat because you're the next highest roll.
Okay. So I go with Pete Moss.
All right, you go with Pete
I
Moss.
introduce myself. That's Pleat Norfish.
Riding your spider.
Yeah.
He seems, very taken with you. He seems like a very simple guy, sort of like dressed in dirty brown gray robe. But his eyes are like very gym-like. He's got very beautiful eyes. He's about 3 foot tall, same as you, but he's still imposing for a 3 foot tall guy. He's older, but he's got like that old man, wiry type of strength. He seems very capable. His nose isn't big, but his other features are so small that his nose seems big. He's got small eyes, small mouth. His nose just looks big.
Okay.
But you could tell he's just an old man. He's probably stuck in his ways, very stubborn, it seems. Whenever you're walking back with him, he seems like an ornery old kind of guy. Very simple. When you reach the Earth District, you will notice that everything's made of mud and stone, very simple structures. People are dressed very simply, seem to be carrying lots of very primitive weapons and tech. You notice a barracks, a stone arena, a brewery for what they call Kalu. They've got dirt farms. For some reason, they grow dirt. They've got a graveyard with lots of stone pieces in it, houses, mud hut inn. They've got, instead of a jail, it seems that all throughout the middle of this Earth Party house, there are people in like concrete-looking cubes with one small hole. And when you ask what that stuff is, he says, "Oh, those people broke this law or this rule, and that's the punishment, is they get magically sealed in a box, put on display, basically wherever they committed the crime." And they also have an Earth shop, or a dirt mall, they call it, with some goods that are specific to the Earth House. They have an Earth monument, which is just a large rock, really, a very large rock in the center of their district. Smithy, which mostly works for gyms. They've got what they call the Mud Club, which is their district tavern. And they have their own temple, which is where he takes you, which is a small mud hut near the large rock, the Earth Monument. And you'll notice that outside there's a small pile of gems on the ground. And he takes those. He takes those as an offering, and he's apparently the leader of the temple and their party leader. So he takes this offering and takes it into his kitchen and puts it in a cupboard in the temple where he lives. Yeah.
All right. Oh, so he lives in the temple.
Correct.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to ask him what I can do to help improve the favor of the firehouse in his eyes.
Yeah, he seems to think the other parties are too progressive. Especially, even though the Fire Party is very religious, he thinks that they're, a very progressive party. He thinks they're a much lesser element, and they try to, like doing things like opening the portals on their own. He thinks that's irresponsible and reckless, and they don't deserve a vote, and he doesn't believe that they should be allowed to vote after actions like that. That's way out of line.
Okay.
I like it, man.
Well, I'm going to say to him that he shouldn't punish the firehouses, the party, for one person's actions. All parties are, they succumb to making mistakes, and they need another chance to grow and learn from their mistakes. And you should really, I think, open yourself back up to the fire party.
All right. Did you roll diplomacy with that? What was that?
Yeah.
That's so ruthless. Also, he's got some. He's got
11.
11. So he doesn't seem very taken by this idea. He thinks the fire party's bad news, always has. Like he says, he thinks they're brash and irresponsible, and you're just one of their representatives, and he doesn't trust you. He says the only way that he would agree to letting them back get a vote is if you could guarantee that they would vote to open an Earth Elemental portal, or if you could bribe him with a whole lot of gems, basically.
Oh, well, yes, I can.
All right.
I happen to have a number of gems.
What number of gems do you have?
Well, what number of gems do I need to make this
Well,
happen?
you just saw him scoop a large number of gems off the ground, so you have to assume it's more than the normal just lump of gems that are left on the ground outside his temple.
And how many were those?
Roll me a d20.
I rolled a natural 1.
Well, there's more than one out there. But we'll say there weren't very many. So a small number for him a day would probably be like 10.
Okay.
So probably only 10 gems outside, which is a small number. You would assume he gets that every day. So the offer you have to make would be have to be substantial in gems, you would think.
All right. Well, how about I offer you 20 gems to improve your favor of the of the fire party.
Oh yeah, he got a shit ton of gems from the deck of many things, didn't he?
Yeah.
He will agree, because he really does covet gems and love gems. He will agree to take your 20 gems and listen to what the fire party has to say. But he would like you to pass it along that he would like them to consider, if you can have them on the side to open the Earth Party portal instead of the other two portals, he would be more likely to vote to allow them to vote. So if you could sway them somewhere, he will listen to them because of these 20 gems. He's giving it consideration with his small bribe. But to guarantee his vote, he wants you to try and sway them.
Okay. I say that, of course, I will relay your message. I'll be happy to, speak on your behalf to the fire party. And I offer, as a sign of good faith, can I offer him my magic ring? Say that it is a magic ring that I'd like to give to him as a gift? Or am I not allowed? I don't know
the ring of truth?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm allowed to take it off.
Usually no, because you can't take it off, but whenever you went to White Castle and took that bath, they took it off for you. So unless you put it back on whenever you left, I don't know if you did or not.
I don't specifically remember doing that, but I assume
Would
that
you
I had
have?
it on.
Well,
No,
if they took it off
have.
of you and you didn't have to put it back on.
I wouldn't have.
All right.
Next time Cersei saw him, though, would be like, "Hey, where's that ring I gave you?"
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, you did not put it back on when you left the White Castle, so yes, you have it in your pack, and you can give it to someone else if you like.
Well, I'd like to offer it to him as a sign of good faith.
All right, he'll take the ring, and he will roll Knowledge Arcana. He looks at it and says, "Oh, Ring of Truth." He says, "I got a couple of these." He puts it in a box by his bed.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay.
And then you head back to the fire party.
Yeah.
While you're walking through the Earth Party, roll me a perception check, you and Alec.
That's a 28.
Whoa.
19.
All right, you guys see each other as Pleek is leaving the Earth Party. You notice Pleek right away because Pleek's riding a spider and is a gnome. Stands out pretty much everywhere she goes. But also because she has a fire patch on and people are pointing her out as she's leaving and saying, not very nice things about the fire party.
I wave.
Yeah, I wave back. I'll say hi, Alec.
What's up?
Yeah, so you guys wave at each other in passing, that's it?
I guess I gotta sell some rats.
Yeah, there you go. He's a busy man.
All right, you say, "See you later, man. Good luck selling your rats." All right, I'll take you, Alex, since we're here. You got some rats to sell?
Yeah. Got some big rats. Let me go see if there's a big rat store. May I go to that dirt mall?
Yeah, go to the dirt mall. You can sell anything in the dirt mall. That's the beauty of the dirt mall. You can rent a
You guys
booth.
just say hi. You don't exchange any other. I mean, I'm kind of on a mission to sell these. They're gonna get smelly soon.
It's
I'm
not
on a
good.
mission too. I'm quiet.
Yeah.
I don't talk unless I have to.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so you guys go to the dirt mall. Or you do. Alec goes to the dirt mall to sell his rats. You can either try to find a vendor to sell them to, or you can rent a booth and try and sell them yourself.
I'll probably just find like some sketchy street meat guy.
Okay.
Yeah, be like,
Roll me a perception check to find a sketchy street meat guy.
16.
Yeah, you see a couple different food vendors that look like they might buy some big rats.
I'm going to go to the nicest looking one that I see.
Alright, roll me a perception check to decide which one's the nicest looking.
Nicest looking rat store. 26.
Alright, so yeah, you go to the nicest looking street vendor establishment. They're all, it's a muddy, dirty place, so none of them are in great condition.
Yeah.
But this one seems like the most well put together, like he probably has the most money invested in his operation.
Cool.
money,
He asks how much.
10 gold each.
Alright, he will now look at your rats, inspect them. Says these are good quality rats. He will agree to pay 9 gold each.
Deal.
Alright. He buys the rats and, yells at one of the boys in the back of his vendor area to go butcher these up and come back. So a younger dwarf kid runs up and grabs these rats and drags them away.
Cool. Well, my next priority would definitely be go get a drink and pray to my God.
Alright, you go to the Mud Club. So it has very uncomfortable stone seats, but you're made of stone, so you don't seem to notice. So for you, none of this stuff really matters. This is kind of actually most people would not like this bar, but you feel great here. It's just got some stone seats, like a dirt floor. They serve this drink called Kalu that you really like. You've never had it before. But it's the only thing they sell here, and it's only 1 gold per glass. So you got one. But it's very thick, like mud. But it's definitely an alcoholic type drink. You get a temporary +1 con. What does this say? Oh, but a -1 intelligence for an hour when you drink it. So you're a little dumber, but you're a little more hearty after you drink it, just like most alcohol. But there seem to be lots of squads of like brutes hanging out here. The Earth House seems to be full of like just brutish, really salt of the earth, strong, tough guys. They're just like hanging out and arm wrestling, and but it's still very quiet. Like even though they're arm wrestling and they seem like brutish guys, they don't seem to say much. There's like the occasional cough or the occasional slam of a hand on a table or a glass hitting a bar or a stone, but not much else.
All right, cool. That's my style. I like that.
Just quiet people drinking.
Yeah, that sounds great. I want to get 2 drinks. One for me and one for Sun Wukong.
All right, you sit and drink your drink, and of course, by that time your drink is gone, Sun Wukong's is gone too.
Cool. I guess maybe I make a prayer for guidance. Ask him what he thinks I should do right now.
So would you roll there, Bobby?
Oh.
Yeah, you start reading.
Sorry. I just rolled a 6. Does that factor into anything?
Either diplomacy with your god or knowledge religion if you're asking for something particular, or there are some spells that like augury and things like that you can get an exact answer of a particular question, but otherwise you're just asking for guidance, which would be a diplomacy type of.
So, yeah, 8.
Alright, so it's not great. Sun Wukong doesn't seem to have a lot of direction. The fact that you're drinking in a tavern seems to please Sun Wukong plenty. But you will notice when you come out of your prayer a little hazy, and that's when you notice that Sun Wukong's drink is empty too. But you'll notice at the other end of the bar that there are some Earth Party bounties that you might be interested in.
Yeah, I definitely want to check those out.
In the Earth Party, they offer quests to anyone that can make their way to the Earth Party. If you can certain creatures from the Earth plane and bring them back here, there are collectors. And so since a lot of people here dabble in planar magic and things like that, if you can travel to one of these planes and return with one of these creatures, there's a large reward for any of them for the Earth Party, the Elemental Krongers. But right now there are signs for 3 things that look interesting to you that you've never seen but seem interesting. There's a cataprism, a chrysalax, or a crystallis.
What do they do?
The flyers do not say. This offers, if you can capture them, you can roll a knowledge planes if you want to know more about these creatures, or maybe a knowledge nature, but planes probably work better since they're planar creatures.
I got knowledge nature. So
Like a pupil stage or something.
Knowledge nature wouldn't hurt. Maybe you would have heard of some sort of natural, 'cause these things do sometimes escape the other planes, and maybe because you're Oread too. These are Oreads are rumored to have come from the plane of Earth. So these might be something you've heard of in fairy tale or something as a child, so I'll allow it.
Rolled a 19.
All right, so yeah, we'll say that you have heard of these particular creatures. The chrysalax looks like a horrible amalgam of a centipede and a praying mantis that's made out of translucent white crystal with brilliant, multifaceted blue eyes. From the stories you heard as a kid, they're very huge. It's a large creature on the plane of Earth. You would know that it's the legends you heard as a kid is that it's a hunter, active most often during the daylight. So it's actually a story your mom used to tell you to warn you against going out during the daytime, which is why you're more of a night owl even these days. Don't go out during the daytime. The chrysalax might get you.
Cool. How big is that? Like on the scale?
It's huge on the scale, which is about the size of an elephant.
Cool. Do I know about any of these other guys?
Yeah, look it up real quick. Chrysalis is also a large creature, so not quite as large as the chrysalax. But it's pretty massive. It appears to be made of quartz, earth, and crystal, about 13 feet tall, with very powerful arms and legs and razor-sharp claws. They glint like polished steel. It's got a large, rounded head with 2 sunken crystalline eyes and a gaping toothless maw. Toothless, but it's got a round head. It's kind of funny looking, but, with claws, so it can fuck you up. The thing you would remember from your stories as a child about these creatures most of all, other than that they have funny round heads, is that no one's ever reported, all the stories you've ever heard is always just like one chrysalis. There's never ever heard of 2 in the same, there's never 2 in the same place. They're not, like, as a teen you often wondered how they would have mated, because there's never any stories of them like in the same area. They seem to be very solitary creatures. So if you find one, you'll probably find one alone.
Cool.
Unlike the chrysalax, which sometimes live with a whole carrot or tribe of those. Oh yeah, the caterprism. Well, you can kind of go ahead and put that one together on your own if you want.
Crystal caterpillar?
Yeah, it looks like a crystalline caterpillar. It's large, so, slightly larger than normal, human size. Caterpillar made of crystal with hexagonal body segments and 12 sharply angled legs. Each body segment is about 2 feet long and contains a single pair of legs. The head's caterpillar-like with large faceted eyes and huge mandibles. You know that they eat minerals.
They eat what?
Minerals. They eat minerals. They eat rock. They would eat you, probably, etc. Anything made of rock. And you would know also from the stories you as a kid that whenever they feel threatened, their first action is usually to secrete a crystalline silk-like secretion to capture their opponents, and then they'll try to bite or stab you after it's captured you. You would also know that they could eat about 1 foot of solid stone a minute.
Oh, shit.
So you've also been told to avoid them. So you would know from your childhood stories, these are all creatures you were told to avoid. So they seem like someone's telling you to hunt scary monsters or something.
Well, I guess I'm going to go outside, because I guess Harlock was still waiting. I'm going to see if he wants to get on one of these bounties. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. I'm going to tell him that the one I like most out of this is probably going to be the chrysalis, because they live alone. Yeah, and then...
Killing one thing is always easier than killing a lot of things.
Yeah.
As a hunter, that's pretty good advice.
Yeah. We'll start on the bottom. I feel like he's going to be the safest one, especially because he can't eat a foot of stone per minute. That sounds painful for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Putting yourself in danger for these missions.
Yeah,
But you would know you would have to find a way to get into the Earth elemental plane to capture these creatures. Unless sometimes they get loose on the material plane, but it's very rarely. And if you do find them, it's going to be deep in a cave somewhere, probably in a place where the fabric between those two realities is much thinner.
Cool. So who's giving us the bar? So the bounty up.
They're general Earth party like wanted ad type things. These are like because a lot of people in each one of these parties because they're not supposed to open portals because things can get out. But if most of these people do try to find ways to travel to the other planes and learn about them and capture elementals while they're there, but it's going to be very strenuous, and it's even that on East Linya is something you're supposed to do a very limited number of times. Like you have to have a license to have used planar travel, and you can only travel so many times per year and come back with so many pounds of elemental, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's at East Linya, this stuff is very highly regulated. But each party has their own goals in each one of these planes. So if you are one of the people that can travel there and come back with this stuff, there are people that are offering a lot for it because studying these creatures can give them more insight into these planes or more powers, or maybe they just want a nice pet. You never know why these people are asking for this stuff. But someone here that has either used up all their planar travel ability or can't want some of this stuff, and if you can get it, there will be a reward for it, type of thing.
Alright, cool. So we just gotta figure out what we do. Get to maybe we should try to talk to the guy in charge of our
Sect, I guess. Yeah, shit. Yeah, to see if you can give us any insight, or we can just ask the bartender. That'd probably be even easier.
Yeah. Let's just have a few more drinks.
Yeah.
Go back in, I guess, since you came outside.
Yeah, definitely.
Solid was just standing around outside for some reason.
Yeah. Just chilling.
Just chilling. He was waiting to go in. He wanted you to go in first and tell him what it was like. There's a place that's called the Mud Club, and he's a classy guy from Oestra, and he was worried it wasn't a very nice bar. But you come outside and be like, nah, the place is cool.
It's great.
Yeah, you'll like it. All right, so you convince Harlock to go back inside the bar with you, and he checks out this board, and you guys want to talk to the bartender. I will now get to describe the bar to Harlock, though. The Mud Club is a very bare bones type of bar, bare bones type of establishment. Not as fancy as a lot of places you're used to. The seats are all made of stone and look pretty uncomfortable. They have a dirt floor. Whatever drink they're serving looks like mud. All the guys here are just like really quiet, brutish types. And they all turn and look at you guys when you walk in. They kind of nod at your Oriad friend who was in here recently. But they're still kind of looking at you, waiting, I guess, for you to nod back or something.
Yeah, I'll nod back, like, give me a wink wink.
All right. So the place remains pretty quiet, and they all go back to whatever they were doing.
All right, so let's sidle up to the bartender there and ask. So, like, I know planar travel is pretty rare, but do you know anybody that frequents it the most, or anybody that can know any way that we could get to the planar birth?
He says, well, you can either wait for a portal to open and hop through it, or open one yourself. He's like, most other people that travel to and from these planes just have the ability to transport themselves to these planes. So unless you have that ability on your own.
Do you know anybody that has planar travel?
Says most people here in town have it. Most people in Kiswahili experiment with planar travel on some level. That's why they come here, because they are obsessed with a certain plane and dedicate their lives to traveling these planes and studying them and dedicating themselves to them. So almost everyone in Kiswahili has the ability to travel to planes. It's just very, like I said, it's a very regulated thing. So they can only travel a certain number of times a year and come back with a certain amount of material, and so it's very highly regulated. So almost everyone does it, but you can only do it so much, type of thing.
Cool. Could we get a pass so that we could do it?
It's not like a thing you can just like write a pass for. It's a magical ability that you have to like understand and learn how to do, and takes years of practice. And
yeah, okay.
Says if you don't have the ability, your best bet is either to find some way to learn it or wait for a portal to open and hop through, and just hope you can find your way back.
You want to ask if they'll open one? You want to pop one open for us?
He laughs and he says, "We can't open portals between planes. Says that has to be done by a vote from all four parties. Says we can only open one portal to any plane at a time because it's dangerous, because anything can come in or go out. So that's why we usually just travel personally instead of going through portals. But once every 50 years or so, they do agree to open one just for the sake of study and bridging the gap between our two worlds and opening relations between us and those planes, which that time's coming soon. So we're safe to assume we'll get a portal soon. And since the Fire Party can't vote, maybe it'll be the Earth Party this year."
Who's in charge of voting for the Earth Party?
Oh, it says we all vote. It says everyone here, it's a democracy, everyone here has a vote. He says we do have a representative, but everyone here has an equal vote.
Alright. We don't run into the other party yet. No, but I can tune in with my bracer of communication to mine and Alex's secret frequency and fill him in on what our plans are through the Fire Party.
Alright, you hear some static, and then you hear Cersei's voice coming through your bracer of light communication.
I would hear this too.
Yeah. Well, if you're sitting next to each other at the bar.
We have our own.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyone on that frequency can hear it. What frequency was it?
I'm telling you, you already know this stuff.
We have another one with just the three of us. Yeah, we got it.
What frequency are you on?
We're on frequency 5, personally.
Okay, you're good. But like I said, at any time, anyone that has their band tuned to that frequency can listen in.
Right. I mean, I have no reason not to tell Bortiga. He just already knows.
He's not there. Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Okay.
So I want to relay to him to tell Harlock all about how we're trying to get another portal open, get the fire people back in good graces, and we're all ambassadors out going to each region trying to work on relations.
All right, so you guys hear this message, and so do anyone near you at the bar. So you could probably assume some people at the bar also heard this message. It was pretty quiet in the Mud Club. So everyone in the Mud, so a couple people in the Mud Club and the two of you heard this message. So you kind of know what's going on.
I go, that was louder than I thought it would be. Alright,
There's nothing incriminating about it.
Yeah.
A friend getting in touch and letting them know what's
It's the sound of like a normal. I mean, depending on the brightness of the light, but you guys were in normal light, so it's just normal volume of voice. It was just like Cersei was standing right there talking to you.
I sold my rats.
Good for you.
Hey, buddy, I sold my rat.
Big day. I'll talk to you later.
Well, over now.
out.
Isn't the middle of the city, right, is like
Yeah.
a common area?
Yeah. Well, do you want to try to find our representative?
Yeah, we should probably do
Yeah.
that.
Can I ask the bartender? I mean, I already know what his name is, but I need to ask the.
Yeah. In real game time.
Yeah. What's
The bartender will point you in the direction of Pete Moss, who lives in the small hut next to the large rock in the center of this district.
Oh,
We go to there. You go to Pito Moss's house.
All right, you go there. He's recently had a meeting with one of your associates, but is now there alone. You can't really see indoors. It's a mud hut with very small slats. Doors closed.
I'm gonna go tell Matt.
You're gonna knock.
Yeah.
He answers the door and seems to be finishing a snack. He's chewing on something and he welcomes you guys. Oh, Earth Party, come on in. Welcomes you in. So new members of the party, I see.
Yes, we are.
He says, I see you haven't got a tattoo yet, huh?
Yeah. Eager to get going. Yeah. I'm gonna get one of those later today.
Cool. I recommend it. I don't know how. We'll have to find. I'm sure we got to wait a tattoo a rock guy. That's got to be something we do here. Yeah. Yeah, he seems fascinated with you, eager to talk to you guys. He's wearing a long robe.
I'm gonna be like, you're all right. And then I'm just gonna ask questions about trying to get to these other planes. We want to go to the Earth plane to do some like
Earthy stuff.
Yeah, smart stuff.
Yeah, he says he does too. He says he's getting older and it's getting harder and harder for him to travel without by the means without a portal. Like just willing himself to the Earth plane is not as easy as it used to be. So he agrees. He says he's fighting very hard to try to open an Earth Party portal for you guys. He says he's put into motion today, working with the Fire Party to try to, even though they don't have a vote yet, he's considering giving them a vote back if they'll vote to open the Earth Party door. So maybe you'll get what you want. Maybe an Earth Party door will open, and he's on your side, and he's fighting to get you what you want and all that stuff.
Is there anything we can do to like help this process along for you, or like?
Not that.
Like, do you need us to like go talk to anyone in the fireside, or?
He says, well, you're an Earth Party member, so they're not likely to receive you very well over there. But if you just come and vote whenever we have a vote, just show up at the Parliamental Circle. Every vote counts. So if you guys just show up and vote,
all right,
that'll help.
All right. I marked down on my calendar the date of the vote.
The votes do take place around the same time every day. You would know that. So around sundown, they usually take a big vote every day on something.
Do I remember? Did you say that this city, like the center of the city, is where like everybody can get together? Like,
That's the Parliamental Circle. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's where all the parties kind of meet.
That's gonna be good for there.
Yeah, let's hop on the main channel, which I think is like 11 or 17. 17. Yeah, and I'm just be like, all right, headed to town center.
Yeah. All right. So Alec and Harlock report that they're moving towards the Parliamental Circle. Who else do I have left as far as party members to talk to? Where are we at?
Vortiga and Cersei, I think.
All right.
Yes.
Who had the highest roll? Let's do Vortiga's in here, so will you do Vortiga?
Yeah.
Vortiga, which party were you going to?
I'm going to talk
To water?
members of the water party.
All right. Alright, you head towards the water party, which is a very large pool that you're now very familiar with. It seems to just have a modest hall next to the pool. But now the pool's back open, people seem to be diving deep down into it and not coming back out. So it might be safe to assume that there's some sort of airlocks or other rooms underwater there. And that's where, because the other parts of the city seem to have a lot more buildings, dwellings, areas. But as all you can see above water is this modest hall and this pool. Kim doesn't want to bother asking if you can swim or anything, so she just takes you to this small hall rather than bothering with taking you to her private office underwater. But she just takes you to this small, this is basically like a pool house, right next to the pool, small area. Yeah, you're there with Kim. Nothing special, some towels and shit.
Alright, I first start by introducing myself as Ortega. I recently came here and cleaned your pool of all the dark doo-doo water that was filling your pool out of a...
I mean, she's glad, but to be honest, I mean, most people sit in the pool when it was full of poop, but she still swam in it, because she does not care.
I know, but, you know, it's just, I know it had to be tough for a lot of your people to deal with all the poop water and everything.
Yeah, she kind of giggles because you keep saying poop.
But
she seems sort of like like giggly and sort of dim to you. I mean, at least roll me a sense motive.
That's gonna be a 14.
Yeah, you just think that maybe she's dim.
Okay, well,
not very smart, kind of confused.
You know, what can the fire party do to help get back into good graces of the water party? As I said, you know, we cleaned the pool. I did as a member of the fire party as a gesture of goodwill. What can we further do to help get us a place back on the council where our votes matter? Because I believe
well, you know, I didn't really like the fire party because, like, they made my pool full of poop, and then, like, you're with the fire party, and you cleaned it, and you're not, like, a poop, and so, like, maybe they're okay, like, I could change my mind, like, whatever, maybe they're cool, I don't know. But see, here's my deal, like, I really want a water portal open, so, like, that's my thing, like, I want a water portal because I really want to, you know, get some watery junk going on, so if you could help maybe convince the fire party to open the water portal instead of, like, the other two portals, then, like, maybe I'll vote for them.
Well, what if, because, I mean, you know, everyone wants their own portal open, but what can we do in a compromising effort to try and find some middle ground here?
I mean, like, what are you suggesting? Like, what's middle ground? Like, either my portal gets open or my portal does not get open. There's no, like, middle of that. Like, I want my portal open, okay?
Why can't we open all the portals?
That's not how it works, okay? This is, like, a system we've worked out over thousands of years. Like, one portal at a time, okay? Like, you're, like, asking for trouble.
Well, I'm not trying to ask for trouble, but
look, we have rules for a reason.
I understand that, but with the fire party, you know, I don't think anyone's going to legitimately vote for the fire party to open their portal since their portal just opened. So,
well, I know, but that's why I want their vote, because that would be at least 2 votes in my favor. I'd be, like, halfway there.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, you know, I
would only have to sway, like, one more party.
But if the fire party doesn't have a vote, how can we vote for you?
Well, that's what I will vote for you guys to get a vote if you can vote to open my portal.
Well, I will do everything in my power to try and make that happen.
You let me know what you can do, and I'll let you know what I can do.
Okay. Alright, Brian, I'm gonna leave.
Alright, you leave.
I'm tired of these damn Venarins.
Venarins, man. I don't know why you chose the Venarin. You have no luck with them.
Well, like, I cleaned the pool.
You did clean the pool.
And who says pool boys don't belong in politics? I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. Maybe in the future someone will say that. Only one way to find out. Tune in next time to Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater.